My guest today is a powerhouse. She's a graduate of the prestigious school Carnegie Mellon, and we've watched her on our favorite shows Netflix The Chair, Showtime's American Rust, and one of my favorites, Peacock's hit series BelAir as Lisa Wilkes. She continues to give us more of her artistry with her musical project, Magnet. That is a beautiful collection of songs that I know you will agree is a vibe. I'm so excited to talk to her today. Welcome to the show, Simone. How are you
Hey,
today?
oh my gosh, I'm amazing after that incredible introduction. Thank you.
Well, you know, the show, The Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kinkaid, is your destination for music and culture discovery. And you are someone we want to discover more about because we get a chance to see you on the screen. And now we have this beautiful collection of songs. How was it when you finished recording this project, Magnet? What was that feeling like?
It was it was peaceful because I knew I just had something that I felt very at home in each of the songs. So I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I feel really good about this, you know. I'll
That's
say
beautiful.
yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, you gave us short notice, which is beautiful, and I love it, and I love the visuals of it. Um, how was it recording that song? Tell me about how you put it together and the visuals.
Absolutely. I was in Atlanta last year with Alex and um Benji and all of just like a bunch of people who are really soulful people. We were just really catching a vibe. It started as a joke, which is really, really funny. We were like, what does it feel like? I think somebody like literally left like just a little something that she had to come back for. And we're like, oh, who is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who is that?
Yeah.
Or just that feeling of that somebody that you can't really say no to. So like it just kind of came about. We were playing, and I am just somebody who loves the bass so much. So Benji came and just started playing that bass line, and we were like, wait a minute. And we just kind of caught it, and we did that in like 2 hours. And it was so fun.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
When you release that song, I see your fans, they're always wanting more. More.
Yeah.
When is this gonna come out? When is this gonna come out? When you put out the visuals, how did you receive all that love?
That was so cool. I mean, I just love music. So it's kind of a battle of wanting it to be received well, but also not caring because I just love it anyways. And it made me laugh and it made me giggle and it made me smile. So it was a surprise
Uh-huh.
and a lot of love because I'm a newer to this artist space, so or that people think. So it's nice that people are taking it.
You know, I said you're a graduate of Carnegie Mellon, so like you really do this, act, sing, like you really do this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your beginnings. You grew up in Greensboro.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I grew up my first 8 years in Greensboro, North Carolina, but I was born in Lampasas, Texas.
Mhm.
And I worked in New York for a while as a kid. It was me and my mom, separated from my dad and my brothers. And so, we would drive up for the summers and just audition all summer. And then we moved to San Antonio, Texas, and then went back to Pittsburgh for Carnegie Mellon, not back to Pittsburgh. Um,
How was that experience? Because so you were a child actor all your
yeah.
life. This was being on the stage. That's something that you always wanted to do growing up.
Absolutely. It started in church with my mom. I would always watch her sing because she would take me to choir practice Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday night. So, I was sitting there and she's not letting me run around or do nothing. So I'm really sitting down paying attention. And I just felt so moved by everything and the way that everything came together. And it was just something that had always been instilled in me. But I always just felt like, oh yeah, like I watch people on TV and I was like, oh, there's a name for something that I want to do. Great. And my
Right.
mom sang and I was like, oh, great. She does it, I will do it too. So I had just beautiful parents that made me feel like nothing was impossible for me.
I love that. I love that. And being in the church, I'm curious to know who are some of your musical influences?
Oh, from the church? Definitely
Well,
Kirk.
overall.
Very,
overall?
very, yeah. Well, okay. Overall, I feel like I have such a vast influence because it's just whatever my ear catches that I'm like, ooh, this sounds really nice. It's always so Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston, her vocal quality was something I could just never get enough of. Like the clarity of it was perfect. I love Dolly's writing.
Mm.
I really love Terrace Martin. I love Thundercat. I love Jacob Collier. MF Doom, I was listening to so much. Chance the Rapper, like all of these people who they're just dope in their own unique way and who I felt just found their own pocket. I was just lit up by.
Oh, wow. And it started off acting. Well, it started off singing, and then you went
Yeah.
to acting and just being this triple threat. Basically, how was the training at Carnegie Mellon? How did that help you for where you are now?
It really helped because it was rigorous. We had class from 8:30 to probably 6:30 officially, and then we would have a little break, and then we would go to rehearsal. And then if you were a freshman or a sophomore, you would do this thing called crew where you help the other shows get themselves on its feet. So you would be in bed at like midnight and then do homework and then
Right.
do it again the next day. So, and the teachers are just they're so invested. We're having like 3 or 4 hour blocks of just acting, just text. And so I felt very prepared for the schedule. It kind of felt like, oh, this is real life. This is kind of easier than I thought, you know? So I'm happy about it.
A lot of discipline, clearly.
Yes,
You know,
discipline and management.
I love it. You are on a talented cast with BelAir.
Yeah.
Jaslyn Martin was I interviewed her. She's a friend of the show. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
asking her, being on that set, all these actresses and singers or actors and singers on here, that's a lot of energy on there with Jabari, Coco, Ali, Jaslyn, yourself.
Yeah.
Like when they were aware that you were putting out this music project, any of them give you any good advice?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Coco is my girl, and she is always giving such great advice, but never unsolicited. It's more of like if I have a question or I've been watching her. She took me on tour last year, and so just watching her be her incredible super powerhouse self and watching how she navigated her interviews in the day and rehearsal and watching people ask her and just the way she picks her songs, it was such an inspiration. So I'm so happy that we have a friendship, but also she shares her mind with me, and that's something I'm always very appreciative of.
I love that. You are a busy woman. How do you find balance, especially when you were filming season 3 and doing this album? How did you do that?
Well, I call it a princess track. It's like in theater we call it a princess track when you kind of get a lot of love, but you don't do the most work. So I feel like Lisa is a little bit of a princess track. She gives a little kiss, she gives a little drama, and then she leaves. So I'm not carrying as much weight as Jabari or Hollywood. So I have definitely a little bit more free time. But honestly, I'm just completely inspired, and I'm a person that doesn't like to sleep. If I could choose something to get rid of, it would be sleep. And I feel like the music and all of this fuels me. This is something that I would want to be doing with my time. So I put all of myself in it.
I love that. Let's talk about Magnet, this project. So we talked about short notice. I
Yes.
have a couple of favorites, but I love this project.
Thank
Do you
you.
consider like this is your baby? You birthed a baby?
I do. I do feel like I birthed a baby. I don't know what the pain is like for real, but I was like, this might be close.
Right.
The mixing, the mastering, and just make taking care of it. Yeah.
How does it feel when you're performing these songs? Because when I look at some of your past videos, just you in school and just on stage, like I said, this girl really is doing it. Like she's really, you're an actor, you're about the theater and all that, putting all that love and attention and like all your expertise into this project.
Mhm.
What was the plan when you put these 10 songs together?
Um, I feel like I was just making music with whoever would listen to me. So I came in here and people know you as what they see first. So when I came to LA, everyone knew me as an actor. So I kind of had to like fight to get in some sessions or either just be like, hey, I'm a singer, I'm a writer, let me just sit in, let me just sit, and then I would sit there and I would write and I wrote for other people and still so built and so it's just the people who are around me. Hayes, who I'm actually in his studio right now, I
Right,
went to a party after Jaden Smith and Willow's concert and Daniel DeArtiste, who I'm a fan of. He was DJing and he was like, all right, everybody come back. And then Hayes was like, I'm a producer. I had been a fan of his different music. And I was like, hey, I would love to work with you. And I feel like he was one of the first people in LA who was like, all right, let's do it. And we sat down and we made Girl and Borderline together and Endless. So just some
nice.
people who really want to sit down and create and play because and don't really care about the fluff of LA or what you have done before, just being really present with each other and the music. So I feel like I found those people with this project.
I love that. So I talked about short notice. One of my other favorite is Tangerine. Love that
Yes.
song. Tell me how that was put
You.
together. What was the base of Tangerine? Because that's a pretty color too.
Thank you. Yes, I love that. I feel like, I just saw the Pharrell movie with Piece by Piece, and he talked about how he's like, I just thought everybody sat in front of the boombox and just sat there and felt colors and I just that was one of those things. But Tangerine came about when I went to do a show in Michigan by this organization named Black Sheep, and they do a lot for their community in Michigan. And I was really drawn to the heart of the thing, so I was like, yeah, I'll go do it. Doing some songs like We and from my past EP, Divine Mistakes. And there was this musician in the house band where I was like, you you are amazing. You could just tell the way he interpolated these songs that he just had a magical ear on him. So I was like, hey. And in between rehearsal, we just sat down and played. And I had just come off a kind of a crazy phone call. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I felt like I was writing from a place of hurt. But then I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to write about the things that I want. I want to write about the relationship that I want. And I want it to feel good and sweet and just tangerine sort of just flowing out that way. So I was just like, what do I want? Instead of talking about all the stuff that I've been through.
Wow, wow. I love that song. Another one
Thank
of my
you.
favorites is Circle, Say My Name.
Yes, I love that one. I mean, Beyonce is one of my overall inspirations of all time.
Uh-huh.
So, little interpolation of say my name, is in there. Just the energy of where you at, where you been, what are you doing? We're
Yeah.
talking in circles. So that's where I was like, I want a leader and a lovely person, and I can't follow you if you talk in circles or if you can't break patterns. That was the inspiration for that song.
Be clear.
Yeah,
I love
okay,
that.
be
Be
clear, be clear.
clear. Be clear.
Yeah, and that was
Working.
with the Brown Boys in Long Beach.
Oh, okay. I love that. When you finish this project and you
Mhm.
guys finish with the mixing and mastering, what was, maybe give me three words of that feeling, of the feelings that you had?
Scared, um, exhausted, and charged.
Hmm.
Yeah, I felt like I was like, okay, I feel like we've captured something in each session that's being um defined
Mm-hmm.
and and just being brought out, that feeling that I love. Yeah.
You've always been singing. We see different the acoustic, being in front of the camera doing that. And you're a writer. What did this project bring out and make you discover that you another title that you want to do?
Wow, directing.
Mm.
Directing, because each song was very visual for me. And so I was like, oh, I really want to direct these videos. Or I was on BelAir at the same time, shadowing all these directors. Like Keisha Sharp was one of my favorite directors I shadowed. And for someone who is so in charge of the story, but is not there to take over, but there to serve it, I was so inspired. So I love Miss Keisha Sharp so much. But directing
Yes.
the hats that I was like, okay, I really want to do this.
I love that. Being on
Mhm.
stage, you've been on stage basically all your life.
Yeah.
Performing Magnet now. Tell me, what will we get when we see you on stage performing these songs?
I really love performing this one because I get to sing a lot more. I found when I was on tour with Coco, when I was doing the older stuff, I was like, I think I was making such a strong contrast from my like operatic and huge belting repertoire from school. And when I was like in my room and in my friend's room just doing little pop music, just stuff where I could whisper, because you can't whisper on stage. They're like, hello, so something where I could be a little bit intimate with my voice. But I found when I went on stage with Coco that I expanded all of the songs. So I was like, okay, I want to do songs that I love to sing. So
Mhm.
Tangerine, I just love to sing. I feel like it pours out and it shows a side of me that I think I haven't shown yet. So I feel like I love to get lost in the songs.
Wow. Okay. Your career, you have crossed paths with a lot of people. Any goosebump moments to date and words of wisdom from someone that you've crossed?
Wow, so many. I mean, Ray Liotta, Channing Tatum, Billy Porter. Billy Porter was a really great one. We did a movie called Anything's Possible. And honestly, I had no business being in that movie. Like, I was a small part. And then he saw me and he was like, wait, you can dance. Do some extra thing in the back over here. So I was doing that. And then he was like, oh, wait, that was really funny. Come here and do that. So he is such a great listener and director. So I was honestly putting that movie way more than I should have been. It made that summer really, really fun for me. And Janet Jackson, I met Janet Jackson after her concert, because a friend was a friend of hers. And so that is like one of the only people I've got chills up my spine when I saw her. Her eyes just like were so big and round, and I felt like I just like always wanted to be her and watched her work. So seeing her was just, it just took my breath away, honestly.
I understand that feeling. I've met her before, and it's like, wow.
Right? You're like, you're Janet Jackson. Like, I can't
Uh,
move.
you said some out of your musical influences, Whitney Houston. What's your
Yes.
favorite? What's one of your favorite Whitney Houston songs?
Thank you for saying one of my
Yeah,
favorites. Saving all my love. Saving all my love.
yeah.
Think that one is one of my. It's just. It's like everything is just so. She like kind of pulls apart the story and like walks you through something, and it's just so simple. But honestly, I'm gonna say something. Her national anthem is still my favorite national anthem that anybody has ever done. I hers is the bar for me, and it's so effortless and powerful. So I want to throw that one in the mix.
That's a good one to throw in the mix. Yes.
Yeah.
As as this, I don't even want to say triple threat because you have more than three talents.
Thank you.
What is some advice that you could give to an aspiring artist?
Hmm. I would say run towards your passions and and then talk about them, because there have been so many times where doors have opened for me because I was like, I have this idea, or I have this dream, or I think it'd be really cool if, and there's somebody in the room who either can support that in a way, or is like, hey, I think that's really cool too. And then a year down the line, I was like, remember that thing that you said was really cool? I have somebody who works on that lot, and I've gotten a phone call and made a whole um life from it. So I would say that talk about your passions and run towards them as fast as you can.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. I'm gonna receive that too. Because
Yes.
that could go towards anyone. Well, Simone,
Yeah.
I have to say you played the heck out of Lisa because even when I look at you, I'm like, look at Lisa there talking.
For real. Thank you. I
We
appreciate it.
We love you. I'm so glad that you just expanded and gave us more of you and your artistry with music. Love Magnet. We support you. I look forward to seeing you on the stage performing all of these songs and more. Maybe you'll add a Whitney song to the set too. You just never know.
Okay.
You never know.
Hey,
Okay?
never know.
All the best to you. Please support Simone's project, Magnet, and we're going to see you on a stage soon. It's the Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kinkaid, your destination for music and culture discovery. And my guest today is Simone. Thank you.